I make this entrance every time I host, and like I'm back there going, I'm like, I'll wait. I know when it kicks in. Everybody, welcome to Awkward Teenage Years. I am your host tonight, Grant Bowen. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you. I'm your perpetual title character. Thank you for coming out to the show tonight on such a rainy night, too. I know how hard that is to get out here. By a round of applause, how many of you have been to an Awkward Teenage Years show before? All right. All right, by a round of applause, how many of you, this is your first time at Awkward Teenage Years? All right, okay. Welcome, new people. All right, just to set your standards for what we're doing here tonight. This is a storytelling show. Tonight we have a terrific lineup of 5 great storytellers here to share with you true stories from their teenage years. These are all true stories, much like that kid back there, about stories about going to school, working your first job, first time drinking, first time driving, and ultimately at the end of the day, coming of age. This is a show we do bi-monthly here at Under St. Mark's. We're very happy you could join us here tonight. Before we get started, I'm just going to give our late-seaters some time to get here and everything, and just kind of ramble at you for a second. So we're in the month of March Madness. How's everybody's brackets doing? Doing good? Wow, not the enthused response I thought would happen. But but when I think about March Madness, I tend to think about this story that I'm about to share with you now. I've never considered myself much of an athlete. You can tell because I'm doing this. This is not where the champions end up. This is where Darwinism puts the rest of us. But here's the thing. I'm from Gardendale, Alabama, and that's the kind of town where if you're a boy and you want any semblance of popularity, you better play some kind of sport. Which is why it kind of surprised me when I was registering for high school, and I saw that I would only need 1 gym credit to graduate, 1 semester of PE out of the entire 4 years, and that was it. And on the one hand, this was kind of appealing to me, because I knew that I was becoming more interested in, going out for the choir or the drama club or the debate team, things like that. But then I thought about the social ramifications of that, because gym was one of the only places where I could be seen trying to be athletic. Effort is better than nothing at all. And it wasn't like I was totally unathletic, I was like, when I was a kid, I played t-ball, soccer. I was on the church basketball team, not to brag. And so I thought, okay, well, what's maybe I just keep taking gym just to be social. What's wrong with trying to stay in shape? Hey, thanks so much for coming. Feel free to find a seat. And so we get to the first day of school. I'm nervous. I want to make a good first impression. And so we get to gym class. We change in the locker room. We go out to meet Coach Taylor on the basketball court. We're sitting in the bleachers when Coach Taylor rolls out this rack of basketballs. And he's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. Everybody's going to come out onto the court, grab a basketball. I want everybody here to make 5 baskets. Once you're done, go sit on the bleachers. When everyone, and I mean everyone, has made 5 baskets, y'all get a free period to do whatever you want. So, I look at the rack of basketballs, and I think back to my time on the church basketball team, and I'm like, I can do this. This is going to be great. I'm going to prove myself and look cool on my first day of high school. So Coach Taylor blows the whistle. Everybody runs out, grabs a basketball. We're shooting from all over the court. I'm catching rebounds and shooting when I can. And after shot after shot after shot after shot after shot, I make 1 basket. And I think, uh-oh. And so I keep shooting. I'm trying my best. Some of the guys are already finishing up and going to sit on the bleachers. And after just as many exhausting attempts, I make my second basket. And that's when my memory gets a little more clarity about my time on the church basketball team. I was 7. I was not the best player on the team. In fact, when you really think about it, one could make the argument that I'm not a good basketball player. But now I'm on the ride and I can't get off. So I'm still taking shots. More and more of the guys are getting off the court, wrapping it up. And I'm just going, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. And then it happens. I am now the last guy on the court. And I have only made 3 baskets. And that's when I hear a voice go, "Come on, Bowen!" And then I hear another voice, "Yeah, Bowen, come on, let's go!" And this grows into a chorus of teenage boys shouting, "Come on, Bowen," from the bleachers, in a tone that I can't tell if it's annoyance or support, but chances are it's a mix of both. And I'm just getting more and more nervous. I'm losing my focus. I of course, which is making me miss the shots. And the only way this could be more embarrassing is if I had been naked. And keep in mind, we had changed in the locker room, so that was still part of the day. All of my balls were embarrassing me. So basically, finally, after what feels like forever, I make 5 baskets. And Coach Taylor turns to us and goes, "All right, free period. Get out there." And some of the guys run out to keep playing basketball. Some of the guys kind of sneak off to get away with doing nothing. I make a beeline for the bathroom, and I just immediately start sobbing, like hard. This is the most embarrassing thing that could have happened to me on that day. And so eventually I dry my eyes, and I wash my face in the sink, and I look up at myself in the mirror, and I decide in that moment that I am not taking gym after this semester. Winning March Madness is one thing, but the guys who know when to call it quits, those are the real champions to me. So, thank you guys so much. And with that, I say we get on with the show. Are you ready? Yeah. Great. All right. Our first storyteller tonight, we know him, we love him, we've had him on the show before. He's a nice guy. He's cool. He didn't want me to do a big formal introduction. Please welcome Andrew McGill.
Oh, let me just do this. It's okay. It's fine. What does the photo look like behind me? Nice. Damn, how we feeling? Amazing. Growing up in my senior year of high school, the best day of my life was when my history teacher decided to mix these 2 songs. He was a DJ, and he brought in his turntables, and he wanted to teach us a lesson about how history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And he did that by mixing in I Want You Back by the Jackson 5 into Beyonce's Single Ladies. And back in 2011, that shit blew my mind. I was like, yo, this is the greatest thing ever. And I was sitting in class, and I was like, I think I want to be a DJ. I think that might be the trajectory for me. So I went up to him, I talked to him, and he gave me a job. He gave me a shot. He was like, yo, you can work for my company. And I was like, sick, I'm gonna do all these parties, I'm gonna do these weddings, I'm gonna be on bat mitzvahs, doing the simul tov and mazel tov. I'm gonna be the guy. But he was like, no, the first way you're gonna start out is karaoke. I don't know if y'all know karaoke DJs. It's tough. Karaoke DJs is like being an open mic. It's basically like being the open mic of all DJs. If you've ever been to open mic, it's rough because people are singing. I'm playing music in between. No one's there really for me. They're just there to sing Beyonce. And I was doing these karaoke, but I'm learning through being a karaoke DJ. And the couple things I learned is, one, if there's a fight, never turn off the music. That's key. People are throwing blows, don't bring the music down. Because one time I turned the music down, and the bartender came up, he's like, don't you ever turn the music up. Never. And so I was like, damn, I guess I gotta, while this motherfucker's getting his ass kicked, he's gonna hear the sweetest mix of his entire life. The second thing I learned is that know your crowd. Like when you're looking out into people, like you set the tone. Like obviously people are gonna be dancing, you could make people fall in love out there. You can make people fight their friends. You could do a lot behind the DJ booth, and you could do a lot with music. And the third thing I learned is that when you're playing in Brooklyn, you should always play at least one Biggie song before the end of the night, and just play it. That's fine. They're going to love it no matter what it is. And I started feeling myself. I was like, yo, I think I'm actually good. I was doing karaoke for like a year. At this time, I'm like 19. And my boss tells me, hey, you're going to do a prom. Like we got a prom that we're going to get you set up for. And I was like, sick. I know prom people. I just had my prom last year. I was wearing the tuxedo, listening to Danza Kuduro. I was like, this shit is going to be easy. So me and my boy, we end up getting ready, going into this prom. We're wearing tuxedos. We're looking fly. And we had told our boss had told us that the people that are setting up this prom, the teachers and the principals, they gave us like a little playlist. And they told us, hey, just play like some top 40 stuff, something the kids. And we're like, but what do the kids want to hear? Do they really want to hear this stuff? And they're like, yo, don't worry about the kids. They'll be fine. So really, right? So we end up going to the prom. And we're sitting there, we're setting up, and we're like, yo, this is going to be the best. Our boss isn't here. We have full free reign. We gonna blow these kids. It's going to be the best time ever. And we set up, and, people are coming in. They're looking fly. They're looking sharp. I'm getting, like, head nods. I'm dapping people. Like, yo, what's up, DJ? We got a black man behind it. I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for y'all. I'm going to do it for all y'all. The school there was 100 kids, and it doesn't seem like it's a lot. But, it was kind of like a sea of kids. It was a little small venue. And they finished having their, like, dinner, and we play the first song, which is Brian McKnight 1. And, it's like every single, like, teenage prom you've ever seen. Everyone's grabbing a partner, and they're dancing. And we're like, yo, this is fire. Like, everyone is holding. We're like, we're doing the thing. I'm looking at my boy. I'm like, yo, we're about to do it. And right after that song, I was like, all right, everybody, you ready to dance? And they're like, yeah. And I hit him with Danza Kuduro. I don't know if you know Danza Kuduro. It's still a banger. Till this day, I don't even want to sing the song because I don't want to do it any justice. But I play that song, and people start moving a little bit. And then I see some kids start to leave and go back to their seats. And I'm like, oh, are we losing them? And I was like, no, I know what to play. So then I play another song. I played kill him with it, and when I kill him with it, and it's I kill him with it. No, because there was a lot of black kids, the West Indians. I was like, oh, that's what they want to hear. So I'm playing that, and more kids start leaving. And I was like, nah, that's not it. So I'm like, oh, let me play with a Murder, She Wrote. So I mixed in Murder, She Wrote, and I was like, oh, maybe this will get them. All of a sudden, all the kids are at their seat. They're sitting down. And I was like, yo, what's going on? And I don't know if you've ever seen like an empty dance floor. It's terrible. If you've ever seen an empty dance floor and a DJ's there, just know they're losing their mind. And they're really trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to get these people back? And I'm talking to my boy. We're playing song after song. And like 30 minutes pass. And they end up saying, all right, guys, we're going to announce prom king and queen. So the person grabs a mic and they start talking to people. And as they're talking and we're kind of just like chilling in the back, a kid comes up and he has his phone. And he was like, yo, you have this song? And it was a Vibes Cartel song. I don't know if y'all know Vibes Cartel. This might not be a Vibes Cartel crowd, to be completely honest. But Vibes Cartel, he was in prison, but he was still making music. That's how, and he's out now, and his music is still timeless for the people in the Caribbean. And he was like, yo, I have this Vibes Cartel song. Can you play this? And he was like, yo, can I just hook it up? Like, you got YouTube on here? I was like, no, we don't got YouTube on here. It's 2011. I don't know how to set that up. And he was like, yo, just play this song for it's going to be popping. So whatever, they finish announcing prom king and queen. And I'm like, should we play the song? And I look at our Serato stuff, and I was like, oh, we have one Vibes Cartel song. The song is called Bicycle. It is not about a bicycle. The lyrics of the song is, girl, I want you to ride me like a bicycle. I'm like, damn. I look at my boy. I'm like, let's try it. Let's see if this is the thing. Yo, we play this song, and these kids lose their fucking mind. They're bugging out. People are grinding on each other. Teachers are like, what is happening? What's going on? I'm looking at my boy, and we're looking, and do we have any more Vibes Cartel? And we're like, no, we have this one song. And I look at him, and I think we both think, like, can we get away with playing this song for an hour and a half, just playing it over and over again so they could lose their mind? The song ends, and we're trying to do our same thing again, and everyone just starts leaving, goes back to the dance floor. And we're going, and it's the worst. It got so bad that people were booing us. They were like, yo, boo, kill the DJ. Kill this guy. And I was like, yo, I don't know what to do. So I'm sitting there with my boy, and I was like, yo, I just got to go to the bathroom. It's like 30 minutes in, and I go to the bathroom, and I just sit there. I sit on the toilet, and I hear all the music. And it's music that I'm like, oh, this should be great. When I was in my prom, this was music that people were vibing to. It was just a year ago. And 15 minutes pass. 5 more minutes pass. And I come back out of the bathroom, and he was like, where the fuck were you? I was dying out here. I was like, yeah, I was just pooping really hard. And we end up making it through the end of the night. And I don't know if you've ever seen people in tuxedos mad. It's really upsetting. I don't know. It really broke my heart. They left there, and I could tell that I had ruined their prom. I could tell that they were like, I'm never gonna forget this motherfucker. I didn't dance one time except when he played bicycle, and I appreciate you for playing bicycle. But that's the one time I danced. And they left, and as they're leaving and we're packing up and we're feeling like, yo, we really suck, the teachers start coming up to me and they start like dapping me and my boy, and they're like, yo, this was the greatest prom we've ever had. And we're like, what? And they're like, yo, no one fought. No one was drinking. And they're like, and the music was great. And we were like, why didn't you tell us that as we were in the middle of it? And as we were leaving, we're like kind of feeling like, we didn't really help the students, and we didn't really, give them the time of their lives. But I learned something very valuable that is probably the best lesson for a DJ. The people that were paying me really enjoyed it. And that's all that really matters. Thank you guys so much. My name's Andrew McGill. Have a good night.
Oh my God. What is the Venn diagram between a storytelling audience and a Vibes Cartel crowd? No one in here speaking up, so I don't know. No, great story. You gave them a common enemy. You unified them through their hatred of you. Oh my God. One more time for Andrew, everybody. All right, we're going to keep this show going once I get my notes out. Our next storyteller is a budding storyteller. She is a firm fan of The Traitors. I hope you're all watching. She is originally from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Please welcome Marisa Theobald.
Yes, I need a much shorter microphone. Hi, it's the year 2000. I'm 13, and I really like boys. I can pretty much recite any fact about Justin Timberlake by heart. I spend most of my weekends at slumber parties with friends playing MASH and just imagining what my wedding will be like. My favorite type of reading are those magazines that tell you how to know whether or not a boy likes you. And I really wanted a boy to like me. My only problem was I'd known the same boy since kindergarten, and they did not like me. But I was lucky. I got a phone call from a local charter school, and I got in for 8th grade. And as any of you in the audience know from any coming-of-age movie, a new school is the perfect place to get a new crush, get them to like you, have them to ask you to be their girlfriend, and then go to first base. And I had no business being this confident, but I was delusional enough to know that this would happen for me. So with this very clear plan in mind, I go to my first day of school, and on the way to my very first class, I see him, Freddie. He is so handsome. He's about average height, short brown hair, brown eyes. I know that does not sound like much, but he was hot. And I was not the only girl that thought so. Pretty much every girl had a crush on him, and he knew it. because he was a notorious flirt. So when he said, "Hey, new girl," I was head over heels. Freddie and I quickly started to become friends. We were in a lot of the same classes. I was a good student. He wasn't as much. But he was just a great athlete for this very small school. I was a perpetual bench warmer, but that did not stop us from playing basketball at recess. And he would cheer me on for every one of my baskets for like every 10 of his. And on the weekends, we would aim instant message each other. And it would just be like little light things like, "This is what I'm doing this weekend. This is what happened in class." But anytime it heard the bloop of the message, I got so excited. And I was trying to figure out ways to see if he liked me. And so one day I check his AIM profile. And that's when I saw it. "Marisa, you are so funny." I know, right? He liked me enough to put me in his AIM profile. I screenshot it, printed it out, and then started showing it off to all of my friends like it was some type of Shakespearean sonnet. The year kept progressing, but he wasn't asking me to be his girlfriend. And so I was getting a little worried it was never going to happen for us. But I wasn't ready to give up just yet. And I decided I was going to take my shot on the spring field trip. So the spring field trip comes. It's a small school. So they bring us around in these passenger vans. So it's 4 rows of kids and then 2 chaperones. I make sure that I sit in the very back row with Freddie. We have a couple of friends next to us and friends in front of us. The ride gets going, and someone quickly suggests that we play Truth or Dare. The game starts off really easy, like, what's the grossest thing you ever ate? What color underwear are you wearing? I dare you to yell, "Penis." And it's going great. The chaperones don't really seem to be noticing, and before I know it, it's my turn. Dare. I dare you to French kiss Freddie. Oh my God, it is happening. It is a little bit out of order, but it is happening. I am feeling electric. And then I remember, I do not actually know how to French kiss. And I can't remember anything in any of my literature that I've read about how to do this. Maybe it'll come naturally. And before I know it, our lips are touching, and his tongue enters my mouth, and this is weird. This is really weird. I sit back down in shock, and then Freddie leans over to me and says, "You're supposed to put your tongue in my mouth too." No, I have totally messed this up. I shake it off, and the game keeps going. The game basically evolves into just dares to kiss one another. So I am kissing Freddie, I'm kissing other boys. He's kissing girls, he's kissing me. It becomes very evident that we really like French kissing each other the most. And the other 14 kids in this van and 2 very negligent chaperones just wash away. And we're glancing, and our tongues are going in each other's mouth. And, it's going good, guys. And then he looks at me, and he looks like he's going to ask a question. I'm ready, Freddie. And then he says, "Do you want to put my coat over both of our laps?" What? Is he cold? Am I cold? Does he want to What? What does that mean? I literally just learned how to French kiss. I definitely don't know what to do with laps and undercoats. Does he want me to touch his penis? I am definitely not ready for that. I just look at him and I say, no, thank you. He looks mildly disappointed and then just turns away. The game keeps going. Eventually, he asks another girl to share his coat. Unlike me, she says yes. And that's it. My big 8th grade plan just went down in flames. It was a total bust. He never asked me to be his girlfriend. Well, I mean, I did make a friend, and he did think I was so funny, and I did go to first base. I guess there's always 9th grade.
All right, plot twist. Ladies and gentlemen, my wife. That's right. Fuck you, Freddie. Your loss is my gain. I may have lost at basketball, but I won at the game of life. No, that is...
What were the chaperones doing?
I do not know.
This is the thing that I think has bugged me and Will since we first heard this story. Like, why was nobody watching you kids? It blows my mind. One more time for Marisa, everybody. All right, keeping us moving along. Our next storyteller is the winner of the Gotham Award at the New York City Fringe, Best Comedy at the Tucson Fringe, and his new show, Bad Muslim, is premiering at this year's New York City Fringe next month. You can find out more at badmuslim.com. Give it up for Azhar Bande-Ali.
Man, the public school buses were not as wild. We were fighting for our lives on those buses. And you're making out to somewhere. That is not my story. That's not. Okay, well, yeah, that's me. The first time I heard the phrase, walk a mile in someone else's shoes, I had a lot of questions. Is that the new obstacle course where you run over people's shoes? Is that the name of the new thrift store that only sells shoes? Or is this a dating app for swingers in town? What does it mean to walk a mile in someone else's shoes? When I was a teenager, I was in love with this phrase, and I wanted to make it a part of my identity. And so I made it my mantra. Walk a mile in someone else's shoes. Figure that out. Figure out what it means to you. And so one day in the summer of 2004, the leaders at my mosque called me up and said, you are now the team lead for a shoe company. And I thought my mantra was working. If my mantra was eat, pray, love, God would have turned me into a white woman. That's the best part of the story. There's nothing else. Shoe company is the best thing that has happened to Muslim footwear since that guy threw a shoe at George Bush. I guess there's more to the story. It's basically, inside the mosque, there's a prayer hall, and you're not supposed to take your shoes inside the prayer hall. So that outside the prayer hall, there's a wall, and we created some shelving on it and created a partition, and volunteers stood behind the partition to take the people's shoes to store them so that everybody could go in and have prayers in peace. We had 2 jobs: take the shoes and return the shoes. It was a stinky job, but somebody had to do it. One day, this guy came in with Nike basketball shoes, blue fading into white, unnecessary amount of plastic on the soles. It is the coolest pair of shoes I've ever seen. It is the kind of shoe that you want to walk a mile in someone else's shoe in. After the prayers, we waited for an hour for somebody to come collect the shoes. Nobody came. We waited another hour, 2 hours in total. Nobody came. And I thought this was my sign to do something. The thing is, my mom almost exclusively shops at the final sale section of Walmart. If you travel like my mom shops, you would go to a sauna in a desert. My mom is cheap, is what I'm trying to say. So my shoes just looked like a piece of cardboard with shoelace around it, so I needed this pair of shoe in my life. The lost and found policy at the mosque was 30 days, put the shoe on display, and let the owner of the shoes come claim them, and you've done your job. So as the team leader, I took the shoes, and I put them in a corner where nobody goes, where rightfully all Velcro shoes belong. And I waited. Every day I came to the mosque and I prayed that nobody find my Nike shoes. I needed these shoes to fulfill my destiny. And at the end of the month, nobody collected the shoes and they became my rightful property. The first time I put on these shoes, it felt like there was a weird crossover between Cinderella and Aladdin. I kind of rubbed the shoe on the side just in case there was a genie inside. Or like Kobe Bryant came out and taught me how to like play basketball. But that's a different movie. I took the shoe, I put them on, and the shoe kept saying my name. And even though it was a Kobe Bryant collection, I didn't hear his name. Instead of hearing Kobe, I heard Azhar B, because my name is Azhar. And I took the shoe out for the first time to a park to go for a run. And back in my day, shoes were more amorphous, gender fluid, before the capitalist patriarchy made them segregated. You could take one pair of shoes and play 5 different sports with them. You can't do that anymore. And so I'm in the park, and in these new shoes, walking a mile in a shoe that belonged to somebody else, I feel like a different person. I feel stronger. My bounce is higher. I run faster. And I'm running farther and faster than I ever expected. I feel like I'm Azhar B. Eventually, I get to this point in the park where there's a massive hill ahead of me. And normally, I would never attempt this kind of hill. But I'm feeling confident and strong, so I start running. And halfway through my run up the hill, I see a guy in an athletic wheelchair just rolling himself up the hill. If Adele saw him, she'd be so proud because he was rolling in the deep. That is my favorite joke of the show. And as I'm getting there, I'm running faster than I expected, so I catch up with this guy much faster than I expected. And I don't know if it's because I'm an awkward teenager or if because I'm feeling really strong, but I turn to this guy and I clap at him and I go, "You got this, keep going." And honestly, I could have said something way worse. So I'm pretty proud with this one. And I turn my head and I start running and I feel good about myself. I'm calm, I'm cool, I'm considerate of other people. And I get to the top of the hill and I stop to catch my breath because my shoes say Kobe, but my lungs are sponsored by Walmart. I'm catching up my breath and taking a look at the park, and I see colors that I never saw before. And I'm hearing sounds that I hadn't heard before. And I turn around and I hear some commotion, and it's the wheelchair guy that's now catching up to me, and I hear him say something, and I think maybe he has some words of wisdom for me now, and now it's his turn to congratulate me. And he rolls up and he goes, "Yeah? You want to mock a guy in a wheelchair? Yeah? You want to congratulate me? Good job, here you go." What? Apparently, congratulating a person in a wheelchair is not a good thing to do. And I realized that maybe walking a mile in someone else's shoe was not about becoming too confident, because that's what I'd become. And now people are literally coming out of the woodwork to see how I was getting yelled at. Okay, checks out. And I'm just frozen, and all I want to do is go home and hide under the covers and be grateful for my Walmart shoes. But the problem is that I need to keep running towards the wheelchair guy to go home. And so I start running, and like for a half a second, I thought maybe I should clap at him and run away. But then I thought, what if there's like a gang of wheelchair guys ahead of me? Or we're in America, what if he has a gun? The next day when I got to the mosque, I made a sign for Lost and Found, and I put it up clear as day in front of the shoe company for everybody to see. I realized that my sensitivity about my crappy shoes had overtaken the intent of the Lost and Found as a tool for my own ego and pride. And from that day on, I decided I was only going to wear the shoes that belonged to me and respect the shoes that everybody else wore, even if they were Velcro. And I think that's what it means to walk a mile in someone else's shoes. Thank you.
Rolling in the deep. So stupid, I love it. The familiar feeling of being a young man patting yourself on the back for something you thought was a good deed. Yeah, it's. I can definitely relate to the like, well, obviously this was good of me, for I am a man, and all status quos revolve around mine. It's okay. I know, you're good now, don't worry. One more time for Azhar. All right, keeping things moving right along. Our next storyteller, born and raised in Westchester, New York. She was in the original cast of The Wolves, an excellent off-Broadway play, Obie and Drama Desk Award winner, in fact. By day, works as a video producer and an editor for the brands that target you on Instagram. And she is about to premiere her first full-length version of her debut solo show, Nipples for Christmas, on March 13th at Von Bar? Yeah, right around the corner. Please welcome Jenna Dioguardi.
Hi, everyone. I have a broken toe, which is the first really awkward thing about this whole thing. But it's good. It was a short commute from the chair. Hi. Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited to tell you this story. This story is from when I was 13 years old. Takes place in Westchester, New York. Any Westchester people? Fantastic. In New York City, you usually get at least one. That's amazing. Great. More specifically, it takes place in Jason Cohen's basement. Any Jason Cohen's basement people? Yes, we know Jason Cohen's basement. Okay, great. So Jason Cohen's basement, it is a balmy June night right at the end of 8th grade, okay? And I'm sitting on the floor, wall-to-wall carpeting, in a circle of other 8th graders, right? And we're all watching this one girl, Sophia Levine, very popular girl, and she is sort of holding a discussion on the best and most efficient ways to steal alcohol from your parents. And this is an idea that scandalizes me deeply. It's something I never dared explore. Important that you know before we go further, within the social hierarchy of my middle school, I can be best described as like a floater, you know? So like the popular kids, they're nice enough to me, right? Totally nice, but do they appreciate me? Do they respect me in the same way that the theater and band kids do? No, they don't. They can't, and they don't. But nevertheless, the popular kids have invited me here, almost sort of summoned me here tonight to this party because Ryan Rachelson, who is a popular boy, wants to kiss me. It's a big deal. So the circle that we're sitting in, it's classically boys on one side, girls on the other side. And I'm just doing everything I can to like not make any eye contact with Ryan at all. With one hand, I'm just like pulling out tufts of the carpet. And with the other hand, I have a death grip on one of those mini Poland Spring water bottles, just crinkling it. I mean, I'm horrified. At this point in my life, I have not kissed anything other than a pillow, okay? I had one relationship, my 5th grade boyfriend, Andy Murphy. I'm giving full names of all of these Westchester people. Full real names. 5th grade boyfriend, Andy Murphy, okay? We had an exclusively over AOL relationship. Not AIM, okay? I was not allowed to have AIM, so I had AOL kids. which my mother monitored, and we emailed back and forth, Andy Murphy and I. And the most intimate that our relationship ever got was that we once exchanged wallet-sized school photos of each other. Sort of deeply intimate if you think about it. But whatever base that is, that's all I had done. So I'm like completely lost when it comes to the kissing, desperately seeking guidance, and I'm seeking it specifically from Sophia Levine, the popular girl telling everyone how to steal alcohol from their parents, because girls like Sophia Levine knew how to kiss boys, and they had made that known, and I really wanted to learn from the master. And like any good student, came prepared. Earlier that day at school, I rip out a piece of loose leaf paper from my notebook in the cafeteria, and I am writing down just a couple of questions, just like fair questions that I have about kissing. And the idea being that at this party tonight, I'll take a moment alone with Sophia Levine, I'll ask her these questions, she'll give me the answers, I'll feel way more prepared, and then I can have my first kiss. But now we are at this party. It's impossible to get a moment alone with Sophia Levine. She is the belle of the ball. Everybody wants to talk to her. Everybody's looking at her. She's got like one of those pink Victoria's Secret bras on, and it's sticking out, and the straps are falling down. She has a thong on, and it's riding above her juicy velour sweatpants waistline. And we're talking 2006-ish here, okay? And it's very inappropriate thong, 8th grade. I'm still not over it. But I am starting to sweat a little bit underneath my crimson-colored mock turtleneck that I'm wearing, which is inappropriate in its own right, seeing as the month is June. And on top of that, I'm having a really hard time getting comfortable sitting in the circle because that loose leaf paper with my questions about kissing on it, I had folded it up and I had put it in the back pocket of my khaki capri pants. And so I don't want to sit on the pocket that has the loose leaf in it because I don't want it to crinkle, and then everyone's like, Jenna farted, and it's like a whole other thing. So I'm just trying to like sit on one butt cheek, sort of like squirming around, and this other girl in the circle goes, oh my God, look at Jenna, she's so nervous. And then Sophia Levine looks at me, she goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, Jenna, do you want me to go talk to Ryan for you? Like I can totally go talk to Ryan for you. And I see this as my moment. This is my moment to get her alone. So I go, actually, Sophia, wait, before you do that, do you think that maybe like, can we talk for a sec? And this gets Sophia Levine very excited because something that I've observed at school is it's like, can you talk for a sec is like cool girl code for can you talk for a second? And so Sophia Levine, she pulls me up by my Livestrong bracelet clad wrist. I knew that would hit. And she drags me into the basement half bath, and we get in there, and I'm like triple checking the lock to make sure no one's gonna come in. And then I pull out the sheet of loose leaf. And Sophia's looking at herself in the mirror. She hears the loose leaf crinkle. She's like, Jenna, actually, we don't like do homework at these parties. And I was like, no, Sophia, I just, I know I'm supposed to kiss Ryan tonight, but I've never kissed anybody before, and I don't know what to do, and I know that you've kissed like a million boys, so I just thought, like, could I ask you these questions, and you can just tell me what to do, and then I'll go out there and I'll kiss him. So because you're all dying to know, I don't travel with the artifact of the loose leaf paper, though I do still have it. I've written the questions down for you. These are real questions that I wrote that I had about kissing. Question number 1. Is it bad that I have braces? Question number 2, what part of him do I put my hands on? Fair. Question number 3, how close to him do I stand/sit? Options. Question number 4, is standing or sitting better? Question number 5, how wide do I open my mouth? Question 6, will it hurt? Question 7, should I let his tongue in? Question 8, what if I burp/sneeze? Question 9, what do I say afterwards? So Sophia Levine, she's still looking at herself in the mirror, and she just flat out ignores the loose leaf paper with the questions on it. Just, a blatant refusal to engage with the mock turtleneck energy that I'm bringing to this 8th grade basement kissing party. And she just looks at me and she says, "Oh my God, Jenna, it's really not that big of a deal. Ryan's probably already jerked off to you anyway." Oh, it's so bad for me to hear. It scares me. I don't even know what it means. And then suddenly we are back out of the bathroom, back onto the wall-to-wall carpet. But now the circle has dispersed. So girls are talking to boys are talking to girls, and everyone starts coming up to me and telling me, "Ryan's waiting outside for you." Horrifying, very scary. All I want to do is I want to go back in the bathroom and rip up my sheet of loose leaf and flush it down the toilet and maybe climb out the window and run home. That's it. But I look at Sophia Levine and I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. So maybe I'll fake it till I make it like Sophia Levine. And I muster all of her confidence and I go over to the pool table and I slam back another mini Poland Spring. And I head straight out the sliding glass basement doors and into the very dark backyard. And so there's just one light shining, and it's coming from Jason Cohen's parents' bedroom window. And it's illuminating Ryan Rachelson, who is standing there between the swing set and the trampoline. He goes, "Hey, Jenna." And I say, "Hi." And then we really just slowly step towards each other, like some weird courting ritual, until we get close enough. And he puts his hands on my shoulders, and I close my eyes, and he leans in for a kiss. It lasts about 6 seconds. My braces definitely get in the way, without a doubt. And when it's over, I hug him and I say, "Thank you." Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my mom then picks me up around 8:30. I'm the first person to leave the party. And as soon as I get home, I go straight up to my bedroom and I reach under my bed and I pull out my memory box, which is this old shoebox that I keep special things in. And I take out the sheet of loose leaf with my questions about kissing on it. And I lay it down right in the box, directly on top of my wallet-sized school photos of Andy Murphy. Thank you.
Oh, Jenna, that you shared a lot of details in that story, a lot of sweet details, a lot of harrowing details. I'm really hung up on the turtleneck in June. Like, what was going on?
I love Samok turtleneck.
I'm sure you did, but that is the most demented part of this story. I just want you to be sure. One more time for Jenna, everybody. All right, how are you guys doing? Are you having fun? Yeah. Great. All right, we got a little housekeeping to do. We got one more storyteller left for you tonight, but just a few things we got to take care of. We have been doing this show since 2020. We started at the what used to be called the Frigid Festival, now it's called the NYC Fringe, in late February, early March of 2020. Last thing a lot of people saw for a while after that. But then we came back once things started reopening, and we've been here at Under St. Mark's ever since. And it's through the support of people like you. If you are interested in being part of our show, do we have another slide with some information on it? There we go. So if you want to find out what's up next for our show, you can support our tech oligarchs by following us on any of these social media channels. This is where we will be until our conscience outweighs our need to sell tickets. So if you want to stay up to date, you can follow us on Instagram, on Threads. We're on Facebook as well. We've been doing the show since 2020. We have kept a log of all of our past shows since we started live streaming during the pandemic, and we have full shows on our YouTube channel. You can go back, check out some of the other awesome storytellers we've had on the show. Just search for Awkward Teenage Years on YouTube and subscribe. And maybe you've been watching tonight and you think, oh, this actually makes me think. I have this teen story, and maybe this is something I feel like I could come on and have some fun telling to an audience in a basement. Well, if you feel that way, feel free to send us a pitch, just 1 or 2 sentences about what your story's about, to awkwardteenageyears@gmail.com. We are always checking, always looking for storytellers for future shows. We have had people on here who have never told a story on stage before, who have, we've been able to work with and help them feel confident and ready to get up here. And we know you can too. So this is how you can keep track of what's going on in the future. And now I will bring you guys to our final storyteller of the night. Are you guys ready? All right. Our final storyteller of the night recently produced a show called Rage Against Medical Debt. He noted this is before the Luigi stuff happened. Actually, if you shave the beard, you know what? Never mind. He currently runs a healthcare comedy publication called the Out of Network Network. We're excited to have him back. Please welcome Ian Goldstein.
Hello, hi everyone. Can you hear me okay? Yes. Okay, how's it going? Yes. Great, I'm not Luigi, it's a good looking guy, but that's not me. Okay, so, there I am. I look frightened there. So growing up, weekends were really tricky for me because my parents divorced when I was 10, and so me and my brother went to go live with my mom, and my sister went to go live with my dad. And weekends with my mom were amazing because Friday nights we would get pizza and garlic knots, and we'd watch a movie. It'd be great. And then on the weekends we would be driving somewhere, and my mom would be like, "Hey, what do you want to listen to?" And me and my brother would be like, "We want to listen to the greatest band ever, Limp Bizkit." Yeah, as we all know. So we would listen to Limp Bizkit, and that was fun. But weekends with my dad were not like that at all because Friday night he's like, "Guess what we're doing tonight? We're going to temple." Shul, synagogue. He was very into Judaism. He's so into Judaism. We kept kosher. He wouldn't call pigs in a blanket. He would call them little hot dogs, because that's how defensive of Judaism he was. But then Saturday morning too, it'd be the same thing. He's like, "Guess what we're doing? We're going to temple again. It's Shabbat. We're gonna go again." So it's just like those weekends were not fun. And in the car, we would not listen to Limp Bizkit. We would listen to Light FM. Like Kenny G and Yanni, which at 34 years old I enjoy, so I get it a bit more now. But the one thing on Sundays that would actually connect, the one thing that would connect me and my dad, was on weekends. On Sunday mornings, my dad would get like a dozen bagels, and we'd watch CBS Sunday Morning. Has anyone here seen CBS Sunday Morning? Yeah, mild applause. CBS Sunday Morning, it's sort of the opposite of 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes is like we're going to investigate, it's like the dark side of life. We're going to investigate Chernobyl and the financial crisis. Chernobyl always gets a laugh. I don't know why, not this time. But CBS Sunday Morning is the opposite. We're going to show the bright side of life. Like, look at this elk in Montana. It's like, oh, that's a cool elk. There's one guy on CBS Sunday Morning that my dad loved, and his name was Bill Geist. And Bill Geist, he kind of looked like a middle-aged science teacher. He was bespectacled, redhead, and my dad thought he was so funny. And Bill Geist would be like, we're going to go across the country because we're going to find the best pie. It's like, cool. And there was one segment where he's going across the country with an RV, and he's at the gas station with a nozzle, and he's like, "We're gonna feed the beast." And my dad was like, "Oh my God, that's so funny." And I was like, it's okay, it's not that funny. As a 10-year-old, I didn't think it was that funny. But I at that point in my life, I didn't connect to my dad because he would take us on trips to like Colonial Williamsburg, which, first of all, that's a place you shouldn't go anyway for many reasons. But it was so hot, not interesting, and we just didn't connect on any level. But when he watched Bill Geist, I'm like, I wish he would see me like he saw Bill Geist. Like that'd be kind of cool. Like show that enthusiasm. I don't really see him like that with me. So about 9 years later, I'm 19 years old, and I applied for an internship at CBS Sunday Morning. Whether it's because I like the show, I like the show a little bit, or because I was trying to achieve something with my dad, I don't know. If any of you are therapists, we can talk about it. But I applied and I got the internship. And so I'm 19 years old, I get the internship, and my first day of the internship, I'm in New York City at 19. and I'm wearing this orange shirt that my mom helped me pick out at Kohl's, because we're both like, this is going to be the right shirt. And so I get to the internship, and one of the producers sees me. I meet the producers, and one of them goes, wow, an orange shirt. I've never seen an intern wear that before. I was like, why are you saying that? That's unnecessary. I meet my co-interns, Erica and Brianna, and they're just like confident college kids. I'm always in my head about everything, and they're like really confident. I'm like, okay, they're there. And then there's Matt, he's an associate producer, and he'd be at his computer, and he was like 23 years old. He looked like E from Entourage, like a short guy. And he'd be at his computer, and he's like, yeah, I don't even really want to be here. My dad owns a hedge fund, and I'm probably going to work there when I leave here. And I was like, wow, at least you're going to bond with your dad at a hedge fund. Like, that's cool. Like, that's sort of what I'm seeking here, is some kind of that. And there was one morning, I remember, so I was trying, the summer was going on. It was the summer of Casey Anthony trial. Yeah, understandable, no laugh there. But it was that summer, and I remember there was one morning, the executive producer, Rand, came in. And he came in and he's like, Ian, we haven't spoken much. What do you want to be doing with your life? And at that time, I really wanted to be a comedy writer. But I thought journalism was the safe backup. So, which I was so wrong. Like, oh my God. Like, I just got fired recently. So we'll talk about that after. Any therapists? Okay. But he said, what do you want to be doing? I said, I want to be a comedy writer. And he pauses, Rand, the executive producer, and he goes, are you funny? I was like, I don't know. I want to be like Bill Geist. I don't know. So I didn't know. That's how it was going. But then as the summer went along, finally, the producers came up to me, Brianna, and Erica, my co-interns, and they're like, we're going to do a final project for the summer. And it's going to be, you three are producing a segment that's going to air on TV, on CBS Sunday Morning in front of millions of people. I'm like, oh my God, this is my chance at 19 years old to like produce a segment, make something of myself, like maybe, again, reaching for this Bill Geist level status with my dad. And so I'm like, okay, cool, great. And so the segment was about unpaid internships. My internship was unpaid. They gave us $50 stipends for like taxis that I never, yeah. And so they're like, okay, we're gonna do this segment. And they had us produce a segment and basically do some research on it. We sent the correspondent, coincidentally, to Colonial Williamsburg. And she interviewed a Thomas Jefferson impersonator. And she asked him, how do you feel about unpaid internships? I think you're all like ahead of me. His response was, internships, I've never heard of them. And I'm like, this is the worst guy to ask about, like unpaid labor, worst guy to ask about. So all that gets done, the segment gets done, and they're like, great, the final thing we want to do with the three interns for the segment is we want to interview the three of you about your internship, and it's going to air. So I'm like, oh my God, great, this is my chance, 19 years old. And we go into the control room, and they interview Brianna and Erica. And I rewatched it again, it's on YouTube, you can watch it. Brianna is defending internships, so she's unpaid internship. She's like, unpaid labor, who cares? Like, you need the experience. I was like, wow, you're a shill. I don't know, yeah. Whatever, that's a separate thing. But so then they get to be, what they told us before the interview was, just don't try to make it a good interview. Just be normal, be conversational. And I was like, got it. And I did the exact opposite of that. When they interviewed me, I was so in my head and so answering the questions terribly. They were like, how do you feel about this internship? I'm like, it's good. And they're like, okay, this is really awkward. I was like, all right, well, it's fine. It's fine. They're going to edit it. They're going to make it good. So the day comes when the actual segment airs, August 2011. And I'm at my mom's house. I'm with her, and we're watching CBS Sunday Morning. And we watch it, and it airs, and they cut all of my lines. The one line that they kept in there was me asking another intern, was your internship paid or unpaid? And that was it. So everything else, I just look like a mute intern. And so it ends, and I'm like, wow, that wasn't good. I don't feel good about this. And my mom was like, I was like looking to her for reassurance, and she's like, yeah, it's okay. It was okay. You should have smiled more, maybe. I was like, okay. And then I'm just not feeling great, and my dad calls me, and he's like, I saw it. I was like, oh yeah, it's not very good. He's like, not very good? What are you talking about? I thought that was great. I thought you were great. He's like, can I share it with people? And there was something about that I'm like, he does not see me like Bill Geist, but I don't think he needs to see me like Bill Geist because he's being a dad. And in this moment, I feel vulnerable, and he's just saying, hey, you were great. I want to share it. I'm here for you. And that was really nice to me. Here's the postscript of all of this is that the internship ended, and I'm like, I'm going to email CBS News to get on their good side, thanking them for the internship. This is going to solidify my future. I emailed them, and I said, Kathy Lewis, the head director of it, said, thank you so much for the internship. This was amazing. I had such a great time. And then she responds immediately. And I looked at my email. I was like, here we go. She's responding. She said, I will be out of the office from August 7th to September 17th. And I never heard from her again. Thank you, everybody.
Who among us has not tried to be Bill Geist for the love of our fathers? Guys, that's our show for tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming out. One more time for Ian, Marisa, Jenna, Azhar, Andrew. Give it up for the staff here at Frigid NYC. Give it up for Yona in the tech booth. Guys, our next show here will be in May, correct?
May 2nd?
May 2nd. Great. Feel free to come by, bring a friend. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a great night.